Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journal. Today we're going to be making a pocket zine using my favourite poem from Maya Angelou, Why Does a Caged Bird Sing, as a bit of an inspiration. So I'm going in and using a really sort of rusty-ish type paint palette to begin on this A4 piece of card. So I'm using Sedona, blackberry, cheddar, and a little bit of sand or apricot to mix it all together and sort of blend it together. So I've started off sort of putting the patches of colour, and then I'm putting the neutral over the top to blend it together. So it's a little bit patchy, but that's okay, because what I knew I was doing with this page was dividing it up into fours. So it doesn't matter where anything ended up, because it was sort of all going to be somewhere on a page. Then I've just drawn over really sketchy lines with my Stabilo oil pencil, and I have I've sprayed those with water and added some additional water with my paintbrush just to activate it. And because it wasn't getting dark enough, I actually drew through the puddles of water to get that really inky line. Now you can use any water soluble pencil you want. Inktense pencils are really good for doing this as well. Inktense pencils are permanent, which is really handy when you're layering over. The whatever pencil I just used, Stabilo oil pencil, had a mental blank, actually does stay water soluble. So this layering stuff and adding more water does reactivate it again. So just be aware of that. But I knew I wasn't going to put too many additional layers on this. So I've stenciled over the top using the apricot again and using a stencil from Stencil Girl. I'm going in with my paint markers and using those in the same colors that I've used in the background, or similar colors. So I used the Sedona, and I used the cheddar, which is sort of an orangey yellowy color, which is the color I'm using with my paint pen. You can just go in with black and white. It's just about sort of creating a little bit of contrast on the page. I'm just using really simple marks here, just using dots, using loops. The loops you can see I'm sort of doing in the fuchsia blackberry-ish colour. And unlike what I usually do, which is really stick to the edges, I did actually float some of these marks in the middle of my page. Now I did cheat slightly, because I did actually ground them on the scribbled black lines. So they are kind of connected, but they're more floaty than I usually have, which was me taking a leap of faith really. But again, I'm folding this up to make my zine. So a zine is a little pocket book, and I'm folding my page into quarters, so along the middle and then into 4 pieces. And you can see I took a picture of my page. I do that a lot when I have collage matrices like I've just made here. So to fold it, you sort of squish it into the middle. First of all, you make a cut in it between the lines in the middle. So you can see that here. So in the middle, between those in between corners. Then I am going to squish it out. To make it a little bit easier on myself, I did glue the 2 outside pieces together and then push them in to make a sort of a start, and then squish them all together. Now there are plenty more better instructions on the internet. If you look up an A4 zine or a zine book, you will find how to fold. It's a really old technique to make a mini book. It used to be done on an A4 page, so you could photocopy them really easily and then fold them up. Now one thing I have done here is I have sealed the edges with washi tape, because I didn't want them coming apart. And I also with the middle section, I have folded down one of the pieces of the book into itself to make a little pocket. So you can see that there, that it's got the little triangular end on it. I've just folded in the open edge to make a little pocket. And that's because I had an idea about the poem I wanted to represent on this page, which was Why Does a Caged Bird Sing? So I wanted a little pocket to actually put a cage in, which unfortunately I didn't didn't video the process of doing that. But I'm using these beautiful bird stamps from Dina Wakley. They're called Fly High, and they're just my jam because they're not neat, they're splotchy, they're really free, which I loved, and again sort of represents that poem to me. So you can see I'm sort of stamping them all over. I also added some additional washi tape and additional mark making to my page. And now I'm going in and adding some colour just to make those birds pop from the page. Unfortunately, my gold didn't work, so I'm using my bronze, which I really like anyway. And this is a chrome pen from Life of Colour. So it's a mirror mirror effect chrome pen, and it's beautiful. So I think my gold is dead because I've used it to death, so I need to replace it. This comes in a set of 3 with a silver, a bronze and a gold in it. It's an Australian company, but you can buy mirror effect or chrome effect pens. They're very much like the Krylon leafing pens, which are really hard to get in Australia these days. I think because they've got an alcohol content, you can't post them. So now I'm going in with my white pen, really thin white pen, and I am writing in the title of the poem, and I'm writing in the poem. I'm using really long, thin, skinny letters to write this, to try and get as much of the poem in as possible. And again, I'm just writing with the white to begin with. I'm going to go back and put some black highlights or lowlights on them to make them pop out from the page. So I know there's not much of a contrast here, but it will change. I'm also trying to put as much of the poem onto the page as possible. So where I've got space, I am writing it in and trying to think about where everything's going to fit. So I knew that I would need to write over a little bit of the birds, and I knew I would need to fill in the page as much as possible. You can see I'm sort of trying to squeeze everything into that first page and then putting something into the pocket as well on the other page. So I was originally thinking about writing over the entire page, but then I've sort of gone from page to page, if that makes sense. Basically, use the space you've got. So the caged bird sings for freedom, and I chose that as the last bit to write on that page. I'm using a really fine, what do you call these pens? It's on the tip of my tongue. Fountain pen. Thank you. This is one from Jane Davenport, but you can use, again, any fountain pen. I am using a permanent ink, though. This is a carbon black ink and is permanent. It is really, really fine. So again, it is hard to see the contrast in the distance from the camera that's recording this, but it does make all the difference. If you've just got your thin black Posca pen, that would work too, or a fine liner, but just do something just to help pop the words off the page, to help them just come into the foreground, because in this case, the words are really, really important for me. In the pocket, what I ended up creating using a piece of transparency was I just drew a cage using a permanent marker. And if you're not sure how to do that, you could put a picture down and then trace over the top of it really, really easily. Then I stamped the bird onto the transparency as well with my permanent ink. I did try and colour it in with alcohol inks, but it actually removed the permanent ink that I'd drawn the cage with because I didn't think about it very well. So I actually went back in with my gold paint pen to add my bird in, so it had that continuity of colour. So this is a close-up of my back of my book, my folded book. This is a picture of the pages. You can see I've added some tassels, and you can see the close-up of the transparent bird here, so it looks like a bird in a cage. So I really loved making this book. It was lots and lots of fun, and it's a great way to celebrate a poem that I really love with some beautiful stamps and some gorgeous colours, and using both the free birds and a caged bird in a pocket to highlight the theme of the poem. So I hope you have a go at making a zine. Lots and lots of videos. I've got a few other videos of making a zine on my channel as well you can check out. Until next time, bye for now.